Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Rooster Stone Show. Boom. We're back here with T-Mac, baby. Tony's in the house. Man, I'm so happy to have you back, brother.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, man. So we have got a special episode for you. I am super excited about this episode. It's called Originals versus Covers. So we're going to take a song and we're going to compare the sort of original version of it to its cover version and see which one we like best. And on air, we are going to choose which ones we like best. I have no idea what Tony chose. He has no idea what I chose. And really, we want you to choose too. And you can comment on both Spotify and YouTube. I don't think you can comment on Apple Music, but anyway, you can comment on both of those. Tell us which ones you choose. Or give us another song that you think is really cool, like that has two versions or whatever. But let's get right at it, dude. I don't think there's any reason to make people wait.
No.
Give us your first song. What do you got?
I will. And there's no wrong answers here.
There really aren't.
There's no wrong answers.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one I picked is an 80s classic, Always Something There to Remind Me by Naked Eyes that came out in 1983. Mm-hmm. And it's a typical 80s song where it has like the synthesizer keyboards come in and they're just powerful right away. Mm-hmm. And it drives the song. But it also has like that 80s kind of like reverby drums going on in the back. Mm-hmm. But there's something different about this is the vocals in it. And 80s are known for like really big vocals. This is more of a old soul, old school kind of vocal track to it. And it's really good. I love this version of the song, but a lot of people don't know that Dionne Warwick actually did the song first. Mm. She never released it. She never released it. It was a demo, but Lou Johnson released it in '64. But I'm going with Dionne Warwick because it was her song originally, and she did perform it live.
Yeah,
on certain those variety shows.
Okay,
back in the '60s, she would perform it, which was really cool. The Dionne Warwick version has that. It's Dionne. Everything that she does, just you can tell her voice. It's unmistakable.
It really is.
It's really good. The band's really good. But when Naked Eyes redid the song, they changed it without losing the heart of the song.
Agreed.
They made it their own a little bit, but they added more instrumentation around it. Mm-hmm. So instead of totally focused on the vocals, now it's focused on the melodic melodies of the instruments behind them.
Right.
Dionne doesn't need that.
No.
She
No, and neither does Lou Johnson, to be honest with you.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah. So, okay, you know what, dude? This is such a great choice. And I had my experience with this song. The first time I ever heard this song, my sister had this like dance hit compilation from the 80s on record. I can still see sort of like the neutron-y, like laser people dancing on the cover.
Hair.
And, it cannot be understated how much effect my older sister had on my early music tastes. And thank you so much for that, Katie. You really helped shape some of those earliest years. But this song was on that album, that compilation album. It's weird that it was on a dance hits compilation, but it was the 80s. People danced to a lot of different kind of stuff. So I was very familiar with this song, and I had actually heard the Lou Johnson version before, but I had no idea that Dionne Warwick did it. And I listened to her version and I really enjoyed it. It's a very different song. I mean, it's got more of that Motown feel with the horns and stuff like that. And it's a really quality tune, but that Naked Eyes version just has so much nostalgia for me. I'm going to vote right now. I'm going to vote for the Naked Eyes version, and purely from a nostalgia standpoint. Obviously Dionne Warwick and Lou Johnson are titanic, but dude, this version, that Naked Eyes version, just pulls too many heartstrings for me. Too many memories with my sister. I'm going with Naked Eyes.
And it's funny. Everything that you're saying there is kind of how I feel. Like when I hear the Naked Eyes version of this song, it hits me here. It takes me back to a place. Mm-hmm. It makes me remember. I could even like smell what my mom's cooking in the kitchen from back then. When I hear the Dionne version, I just think of, okay, this is something my dad would listen to. Mm-hmm. And it was a really good song.
Yeah.
But the Naked Eyes version gets my vote.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it just captures you.
I feel like we're giving it the nostalgia vote. And you know what?
It
I'm
gets
okay
it.
with that.
It gets
we are
it.
80s kids. So, born in the 70s, raised in the 80s. This is just who we are. So Naked Eyes gets 2 points. Nice.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So we're moving on to my first song, which, I wanted to get a little bit controversial here. So I chose the song Born to Be Wild.
What?
Now, Steppenwolf recorded this version in 1968 on their self-titled debut. All right. And the cover version I chose, because there's more than one, is The Cult from their great album from 1987, Electric. All right. So just to split it up and talk about them separately, Steppenwolf's intro to this song is one of the most iconic in all of rock history. This song is one of the most iconic in rock history. John Kay's voice is both melodic and edgy. The organ solo by Goldie McJohn just sizzles. I mean, dude, only in the 60s could you have an organ solo in such a heavy song. That is a time that will never come again. This is such a great tune.
And without it, it doesn't sound
right. It wouldn't. Yeah. It wouldn't sound quite as fulfilling. So the Cult's version is undoubtedly heavier. They're coming from a time they're a little bit heavier a band, period, and they really did make it their own. That was sort of like one of the foundational things for me in choosing this list. Is one of the things that I appreciate about a good cover is, did they make it their own? And they did. Ian Astbury's voice is just so glorious on this track. He is such a good singer and so unique. He's one of a kind. You know exactly who he is when he starts to sing. Billy Duffy's guitar is crunchy and the solos are screaming. It's a little slower, but it's also more crisp and clean than the original. It's got a little more space between the edges. And you brought up the organ. It kind of didn't feel right without that. And you know what? I think that's something to be said about this. So I'm kind of curious to see what you think.
Yeah. So, funny enough, when I first saw that you were going to pick this song, I accidentally typed in Blue Oyster Cult, and they do a version of this.
Of course they do.
And it's totally different than the other two.
Yeah.
But Steppenwolf, you already said everything you can say about the Steppenwolf with the organ and how it comes together.
Yeah.
It's in, I don't know, thousands of soundtracks.
It is, and for a reason. Yeah.
Right? It's a song that I play in a cover band that I'm in right now.
Yeah. Everybody plays this song because it's great.
But the Cult, the version in an era of hair metal and heavier music coming in and making its presence known that, hey, we're here to stay.
Yeah.
The way they chug on the guitar with those power chords, it grabs you right away.
It really does.
It's kind of inviting. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. And right away it's don't. And like, all right.
Yeah.
All right, what are you doing here?
It's
What's
heavier.
going on?
Yeah.
It is heavier.
So what are you picking?
Here's the thing. I love the Cult version, and I have already put it in rotation in my phone on Spotify. But I'm going with Steppenwolf because I just love that organ sound.
Yeah.
I need it. I need to have that organ sound.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're saying. And you're exactly right about the Cult and the time that they were playing music. And it's all the more sort of impressive because the Cult's debut album that they did before Electric in 86 was The Cult Love, which, by the way, is probably in my top 5 albums of all time. I absolutely love that album, but that album is a lot more dark and layered. This album was completely uncut. It was like they did everything in one take. And it's just edgier, and it's so much edgier than all the hairband stuff. And it was one of the things that I really liked about the Cult at that moment in my life. They weren't sort of doing it the way everyone else was doing. But dude, this is Steppenwolf, and it's Steppenwolf's most iconic song, one of the arguably greatest songs in rock history. I can't not choose it. I'm going with Steppenwolf.
It's hard not to.
Yeah, I mean, and you're right. I think some of it is, it might even just be the organ. Maybe if the Cult's version had organ in it. And there were a lot of keys on their first album.
Yeah.
If they had organ in it, it would have been a tougher choice because it really is well done and well sung. So,
But a nod to the Cult because they did the whole heavier thing, but it wasn't cheesy.
No. And to come that close to getting my vote is impressive
Yeah,
all on
I
its
was
own.
very close.
Yeah.
I was very close.
Me too. Excellent job. So yeah, what do we got number 2? What do you got for 2?
All right, so here's like a closet classic one that I think everybody knows that Bruce Springsteen did this song first, and it's All That Heaven Would Allow, and it's on his Ton of Love album that came out in 1987. Great song, typical Bruce. It's got the 4 chords. It's just simple. Well, even though he makes 4 chords sound easy, even though it's a lot more intricate than that, because he's got like a 15-piece band, right?
Yeah.
But it's that typical Bruce where you can't help but get sucked in to the song, and that's why it hit the pop charts and why it was one of his hits on off that album in 1987. However, let's go to 1994. And a band that's been out since the 70s, like about 74, 75, the Mavericks, is a country band. Now in 94, we're at a time where the country crossover is starting to happen in America. Again, it happens every so often. And now country artists are starting to hit the pop charts on Billboard and stuff. So the Mavericks, led by Raul Malo, who has one of the best voices in all of country music and underrated.
He does have an excellent voice.
In that time, it is so unique and it's pitch perfect. The only one that goes head to head with him is Vince Gill when it comes to that. But the Mavericks took this song, a pop rock song from them, and they put the country twang in it, and it hits. And it's so catchy. And it's almost like, to me, it almost feels like the Mavericks wrote this song first, and then Bruce covered it.
Yeah, a good cover will do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it feels like, well, that's kind of what I have on that, but it feels like the Maverick, like Raul Malo wrote this first.
Yeah, this was an interesting choice. And, I hadn't even thought about this one. But, when you think about it, Bruce Springsteen is almost like Bob Dylan. He's got tons of people recording his songs all the time because he's a great songwriter.
Right.
And so, I felt like listening to the Bruce version, though, you could kind of see how the Mavericks took this song. It did have a little bit of that sort of like Texas country feel to it.
Right.
And Texas country's different than,
it's a lot different. It has the Mexican vibe to it.
Yeah, it does. And so it already had that sort of feel to it. So it's not this ginormous jump that some of these other versions that we have on here are. So, anyone that knows me knows that this is going to be the easiest choice in the world for me. And, this is very controversial. I have gotten into so many arguments. In fact, some people have offered to fist fight me over this. But I just don't like The Boss. I don't like The Boss. The Boss doesn't do it for me. And, I don't like seafood either for the exact same reason. I just don't like it. It's not my bag. It's not that I don't think it's that there's value in it. I just don't like The Boss. I love when other people do The Boss's song. So I'm choosing the Mavericks, and it's the easiest choice today for me.
Well, I think I kind of already alluded to my answer by what I said earlier.
Sure.
I chose this song because the Mavericks crush it.
And they do.
And the Mavericks win this. They win this for me on this vote because I also am with you. I am not a fan of The Boss.
That's so funny.
And we did not know this.
Dude, people are gonna like riot in the streets, that we're saying these things. But you know what I think it ultimately comes down to? The Mavericks version is more interesting. There's more going on. The Bruce Springsteen version, sort of like it gets going and then it doesn't really take you anywhere.
Progression.
Yeah, it doesn't take you anywhere. It doesn't rise. It doesn't fall. It just sort of stays at the same thing, and he says his piece. I mean, part of it is too that the Springsteen version is almost a full minute shorter. It's like 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So anyway, we've said our piece on this song.
Yes.
We're moving on. All right. And you can yell at us in the comments, by the way.
We can handle it.
But I'm going to say it out loud that John Bon Jovi is the best thing to come out of New Jersey. Anyway, here we go. All right. I'm going to make people mad. All right. So my second song is Hard to Handle.
Dude.
And, I just, there was something, I had to do it. This, this song was originally done by Otis Redding from the immortal Otis Redding, which is aptly named, from 1968. It was remade in 1990 by the Black Crowes on their powerhouse, first album, Shake Your Money Maker. Let's talk about Otis first. So, dude, It's Otis Redding. All right. This guy is an absolute titan of American rhythm and blues music. His songs are some of the best in modern music history. This song is no exception. His voice and the way it breaks and crackles. I mean, nobody else sounds that desperate when they sing.
Melodic growl.
Yeah, and but it does it. He just sounds so desperate.
Yeah, he does.
When he sings, and no one else has that. You know, but it's in this version, it's those horns, man. You know, so just the way that the song explodes from that first riff. I cannot say enough about how much I love this man's music. I just can't. So in 1990, when the Black Crowes landed like a meteor onto a scene dominated by hair bands and 90s R&B, with their throwback sound, they absolutely took the radio waves by storm with this album. I mean, if you look at the album and the track listing, it's just like hit after hit. There are so many great songs here. And this was the first big hit, right? A cover song, an homage to one of their heroes. And man, does it stand up. This is by far, for me, the toughest choice on my list here today. What do you got, buddy?
It is
first.
It is. Thanks for nothing.
Sure.
It is the hard choice because what can you? Otis Redding, when he sings, it goes right through you. Like you had said, he sounds so desperate.
Oh man!
Not everyone can put that kind of feeling into the music and the songs, the lyrics that they're singing, and you feel the hurt with him while he's doing it or whatever he's going through in pain.
You do.
And like you said, the horns.
Oh man.
The horns, they're just like it makes the song. It's almost like the organ from Steppenwolf.
Mm-hmm.
But man, the Black Crowes.
Oh, dude.
And maybe a little bit of the Black Crowes, like some of their popularity came through because thank you, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Mm-hmm. Maybe for opening up some windows here to go back into a little bit of a blues rock kind of.
Thank you, Stevie Ray Vaughan, for a lot of things.
Right?
Yeah.
But man, when they hit.
Dude.
And the first time I heard them on the radio, I'm like, this is it. This is it.
You can bounce a quarter off this version of a song. It is that tight. I mean, every change, every movement, that organ, there it is again.
The build and the breakdown and the way they come in and out.
I still haven't decided. I'm going to have to decide like right here on the show.
I'm going to decide right now.
Give it to me.
I'm going to decide right now, and I have to give it to the Black Crowes because Otis Redding has so much already going on. The Black Crowes, this song landed them who they are today. Mm. And this song, like you said, is iconic. For 1990 was a transitional time.
Yeah.
I just graduated high school.
It really was.
It came out, and then I was like, everything felt different.
Yeah.
It's like the wave of music is changing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, this is like the precipice.
And it was before grunge hit and sort of took over everything.
It was the precipice of some new stuff coming out. So I have to go with the Black Crowes version on this.
Man, so you got to take it line by line here. You know, voice it's tough, man, because dude, Chris Robinson's voice, but dude, Otis Redding, I got to give voice to Otis Redding. I love those horns. Those horns just get in me, man. And this version feels, I don't know, it feels more American. But then the Black Crowes, man, it's got 1990, or music production. So like the difference in listening to it on a good sound system is pretty substantial.
Yeah.
In terms of what you're getting from the fullness of the sound. Dude, that Black Crowes version with that solo. Dude, I can't believe I'm saying it because Otis Redding is one of my favorite people ever. I got to roll with the Black Crowes. I can't believe it. I can't believe it because honestly, until this moment, I felt like I was going to pick Otis Redding. I felt like it was an affront to all musical people if I chose the Black Crowes, but I have to. It's so good.
It is so, and I came in the same way. I was teetering driving over here thinking this Otis Redding one is going to be hard.
Bro, and Otis Redding would be on my Mount Rushmore of like...
Yeah.
Oh man, it breaks my heart. I have to. And you know what? If you ask me the same question tomorrow, I'll probably change my mind. And in fact, by the time this thing posts on Friday night at midnight, I'm probably already going to be mad that I didn't choose Otis.
We're kind of swayed by mood, right?
Otis,
With music,
he loves us, dude. Oh man. Okay, we got to move on because I'm tearing up. I feel I'm already regretting my decision. I can't. Give us your last song. What do you got?
We're gonna make this one a little easier,
dude. Quite possibly the most bizarre choice, by the way, of the whole day. This is great. I can't wait. Go ahead.
All right.
This is so bizarre.
Okay, so there's a song that came out. I'm going to work backwards on this one because in 1994, a band called Ace of Base hit the scene. All That She Wants.
I saw the sign.
Yeah, I saw the sign. All these songs.
Up my eyes.
They also had a hit song with Don't Turn Around. And I'm going to be honest with you. I did not know that this was a cover. I thought this was just another cheesy pop song that they put together for their album. I'm like, okay, it makes sense. It almost has like that pop reggae sound they were going through for in that 90s.
It does. It has a reggae beat to it. Yeah,
right? And then I looked it up and I saw that Tina Turner did this song first. And I was like, no way. And she did in 1987 on Break Every Rule, which is a phenomenal album. 80s Tina is the best. 80s Tina is
Simply
the
the
best.
best.
Exactly.
Yeah. You get no argument here, dude.
And this song's very vexing to me because after this, I realized that a lot of people did this. And Neil Diamond did it. I'm a Neil boy. I love Neil Diamond. And I'm sorry, Neil, but Ace of Base gets the nod on this because it's so
bizarre.
different.
Yeah, it's too bizarre. You had to pick this one.
Yes.
Dude.
I mean, the Ace of Base one starts out so different where they come out with those keys, a little bit of drum beat, and they start off with 5 words of spoken word. And I will survive without you.
Yeah.
And then it goes, and then it comes in right in with the keys and that like reggae drum beat. And I'm like, this is so cheesy, but it's almost good.
Yeah, it's like video game music.
Right.
Yeah.
But then when you listen to the Tina Turner version, I was like, this one I literally just sat back and I like clinched my armrest the first time I heard. And I listened to it again the other day and I'm like, man, this is so good. Like, and it has the heavy guitars. You know, the 80s with the melodic singers had the heavy guitar. You just picture Marshall Stax in the background on stage. Yeah. Even Michael Bolton was doing her
doing that strut that she does.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Tina Turner.
And the orchestration behind Tina Turner, there's no electronica here. This is heavy guitars. It's big 80s drums behind her. Like,
yeah, it's because they're triggers. They're E-drum triggers.
And honestly, the Tina Turner version is such a solid song. I'm surprised it wasn't. I think it made the charts. I don't know how high up it went, but it kind of got overlooked. It got missed. Tina Turner gets my vote. Don't Turn Around by Tina Turner is the version. Mm-hmm. To me, it wins for me.
So first of all, this song just blew my mind, and it blew my mind all the more because I knew both of these songs, right? Anyone that knows me, Steph Zimmerman out there in internet land, she definitely knows because we're like Tina Turner, we're like in on it, like David Bowie, right? And so Tina Turner is like one of my biggest heroes as a front man because, I mean, anyone who's ever seen her on stage, I have never seen anyone command a stage both physically and vocally the way Tina Turner does. Never.
It's not close.
Dude, she is up there like she invented it. And so, but I knew both of these songs because I love Tina Turner.
Right.
So, I had this album, it's something that I know. I knew the song. I knew both of these songs. I had no idea they were the same song. That's how different they are.
That's way different.
I mean, I had no idea they were the same song. It blew my mind. And maybe you out there feel the same way. Let us know in the comments. But I had no idea. Now, I am going to preface my decision here by saying that, the Ace of Base is what it is. It was a moment in time. But this is a good song. It is a good pop song. And
It is.
particularly in an era where pop songs were pretty garbage. This was a pretty good pop song. It was well done. It was well produced. It's got a nice little groovy beat. I mean, that reggae beat, I really like it. The problem with choosing here is that it's just so different. It's hard to tell it was the same song. And dude, it's one thing for the Black Crowes to go up against Otis Redding. It's another thing for Ace of Base to go up against Tina Turner.
It's almost not fair.
Dude, you're just not going to climb that hill, You're just not going to climb that hill. And, I'm telling you, I appreciate the Ace of Base song. But, dude, Tina Turner is, again, a Mount Rushmore face for me.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, dude, I can't believe we have both chosen exactly the same songs. This is tripping me out.
I really thought one or two of them we were going to differ.
Dude,
here.
I thought there was no way you were going to choose some of the ones that I did. That's crazy.
I picked Tina, and I was a DJ in the 90s.
Yeah.
Club DJ in the 90s, and I played this song all the time.
Yeah. Dude, I thought you picked this because it was like you were this closet like Ace of Base fan. So, but dude, that's a great tune. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's a good song. All right, we're here at the end.
It's a doozy.
It is a doozy. And, I would like to point out that this is the very first time on my podcast that I have ever mentioned or had a Beatles song on the list. I am choosing I Want to Be Your Man from With the Beatles in 1963. The Stones recorded it. It was a single. It was actually their second single in 1963. And they actually released it before the Beatles did.
Right.
Okay, this was before the Jagger-Richards songwriting duo really kicked in, But their version is edgy, and it has that classic Brian Jones slide guitar in it. There are points where it's even a little dissonant. It's the Stones. Keith Richards' solo is howling, and dude, Wyman is going absolutely nuts with that bass line. But it's Mick Jagger's voice that really makes their version shine to me. He's just such an iconic singer, especially when he's doing his classic screeching at the end of the song. Now, switch gears to the Beatles version. It's undoubtedly more poppy and bouncy. It's also faster. It's crisper. It's cleaner. The Beatles, from a musical standpoint, are the better band. It's also faster. I already said that. Even the sound of the guitar lick is just cleaner. It's more polished. This is an era when everyone was hungry for anything Beatles in Britain, and Ringo is showcasing his real talent and the reason that they chose him over Pete Best to lead a band with his vocals. He does. From the very beginning, he had his songs. And Paul is sort of screeching out those harmonies in the background. Paul really adds a lot to this track. He adds a lot to every track, but he's adding a lot here. So I will hand it over to you. What do you think about this original versus cover?
Well, first of all, it's not fair that you took two musical titans head to head against each other. This is not fair. Mm-hmm. The playing field is level. Especially
because it's the same song. You're not comparing a Beatles song to a Stones song.
No.
You're taking the writing duo of Lennon and McCartney and letting it shine through with a tune.
Yeah, and this one here, like you had said all the important things about the Beatles song. It was typical Beatles for right after they first came out. Mm-hmm. It's poppy, it's snappy, it's clean. We weren't really distorting amps 100% yet, right? The Stones version grabs you, though, with the guitars. Like, I get it with the Ringo thing, Ringo being an amazing, solid drummer, and his vocals and everything are really good, but the guitars grab you with the Stones. And this is the age of the edge of breakup on the guitar amp, right? And people started to love this. They couldn't get enough of it. This is why I started to gravitate towards the Stones version on this, and I love Mick Jagger's voice. Mm-hmm. Like he can make the most softest song sound rocking.
He is a superior singer.
He is. And it really but then I started listening again. This is the prestige here.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened again, and I listened again. I listened to this song at least 10 times, and I listened to it again 3 times this morning.
And it still only took 10 minutes.
Yeah, because
Like, the song's like 2 minutes
and 20 seconds or something.
Yeah, it's so short. It's great.
Man, with the harmonies, I got to go with the Beatles version on this still. I wish the Beatles version had the guitars from the Stones in it. And I almost wish that the Stones had the drums from the Beatles in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking too much hybrid here.
No, you know what though? But it you know, it makes you think, because you know the things that you're saying are so right about it. You know, this is, you know, on the surface to most people, this would seem like an easy choice. You know, you're taking the classic competition between these two bands, which were, you know, quite different when you really, really get down to it. You know, and I think I'm going to retract something I said earlier by saying that the Beatles were undoubtedly the better band. I don't know that that's true. You know,
it's a good debate, though.
They were undoubtedly the better songwriters.
Right.
That part I think most people can agree upon. But we're not having that argument here because it's the same song. This is going to be a fairly easy choice for me because I recognized this a long, long time ago, and it was the reason I chose this song. I'm going to choose the Stones here. Their version is edgier. It does something about the song for that era that the Beatles version doesn't do. For the Beatles, this is just another song on With the Beatles. But for the Stones, this is the second single they released. And man, does it hit you in the face. It is less polished, like the band, but it is also more felt. The feeling in it and the raw power of the Stones is on display here. And that's why I'm choosing that. This is the first song. It took till the last song for us to part ways with our choices, but I am going to choose the Stones. And, you know, it is that voice, dude. Mick Jagger is a better singer than Ringo Starr. And I think
all day.
And I think it's one of the things that hurts the Beatles' chances here. Had John sung this song, it might be a tougher choice for me. And I like Ringo as a singer. I like Ringo's songs. I mean, dude, Octopus's Garden, With a Little Help from My Friends, Act Naturally. I love these tunes. But dude, when you're putting them pairing these two bands together in this song, I'm giving it to the Stones.
So, you can't lose on this.
You can't really lose on any of them. You know, I mean, it was a good list, and I really appreciated the versions that you chose. I felt like this was a good one. So, you know, folks out there in internet land, you know, wherever you're listening to us or watching us, please, particularly with this episode, tell us which songs you choose. Which versions do you like best? You can tell us on both Spotify and YouTube. Which song, or take to social media, Facebook, Instagram. Which versions of these songs do you like best? And why? Give us your reason for it. We'd love to hear about it. You know, it was great to have you on the show here today, Tony. I had a lot of fun doing this episode, but we're going to get out of here right now. We got stuff to do, people. So we're going to wish you peace and one love. Come on over to roosterstone.com, where you can book the band for any event you can imagine. Acoustic, full band, whatever your event may require. You can also email us to take online music lessons at an affordable monthly price. Don't forget to download our original music and like, follow, and subscribe to Rooster Stone across all social media platforms. Keep rocking out at roosterstone.com.